Imagine a star rising so steadily that her trajectory seems almost inevitable. Yet each milestone feels refreshingly earned, never rushed, and just pushing her into superstardom. That describes Nigerian singer, songwriter, and global phenomenon, Tems. From the moment she graced the music scene, she has radiated an authenticity that resonated with fans worldwide. Today, in 2025, Tems stands taller than ever, celebrating a recent Grammy win for the Best African Music Performance category, a solo accolade that underscores just how far she's come in the industry. But this story is about more than just an artist collecting trophies, for fun even. I only mentioned the Grammys, but she's done more. Anyway, let me break it down for you. Buckle up. This is the no BS version. It's really about the power of patience, the virtue of carefully curated music, and the promise of staying true to one's roots. We're talking about a creative mind that refuses to flood the market with track after track, instead opting to weave deeply felt narratives and captivating soundscapes on her own timetable. Like, you cannot rush Tems. She cannot be rushed. We are also talking about a singer who's just wrapped up a world tour in 2024 with shows all around the world, Germany, wherever, through to Australia, further cementing her position as one of Africa's most compelling musical exports. Now, cast your mind back a few years to the moment Tems first stepped onto the international scene on Wizkid's song Essence, which proved to be quite the breakout record. At that time, Tems had some songs in her catalog that were doing very well, including the hit Damages. That proved to only be the beginning, because she really went on to own the international stage with numerous features on acclaimed albums like Beyonce's Renaissance, Drake's Certified Lover Boy, and then she went on to win that Grammy, her first Grammy, in 2023. Technically, not as a main artist, but as a featured vocalist on Future's global hit, Wait For You, which is on the cusp of 1 billion streams on Spotify, by the way. For fans who'd been following Tems from her earliest releases, this was a huge milestone, and you know what? A deserved one. Suddenly, headlines around the world highlighted Tems' names next to global powerhouses like, Future and Drake on the song, and everybody else out there. She was featuring at all the fancy get-togethers in the music industry and all that stuff, which was really cool. It was a, triumphant entrance, if we want to call it that. One that signaled a new wave of African talent was really going mainstream when it came to the American side of things, and just world music in general. Oh yeah, do head over to my website, which is mjwemoto.com, mjwemoto.com. There's some goodies you can purchase. This is how we keep the lights on this platform. So come through. So that win by Tems was actually quite pivotal for where African music is right now. It gave Tems full international visibility, introducing, millions of new listeners to her soulful and smooth vocal style, and it sparked conversations about the potential of African music on a global scale. And of course, here and there, you'd get people that always sort of floated the question, could Tems replicate this success on her own terms and not on someone else's record? After all, she had really done this amazing work where, on Essence, she was a feature on Wizkid's album. On Wait For You, she was a feature on Future's album, all that stuff. Or, the other question, would she be forever tagged as that, mesmerizing voice on someone else's record? And I think those questions are also unfair because, I think Tems, when you look at those features, she really made a lot of what they are. And those features wouldn't be as fire, or those songs wouldn't be as fire without Tems. And I think the answer was clear. She was only just beginning anyway. The global stage that had been cracked open by a feature credit was never going to define her entire career. Like I said, before Essence even dropped, she was doing damage with songs like Damages. And she had her own stories to tell. She had her own sound that she was crafting and refining, and an unshakable commitment to let the music actually speak for itself, because Tems is not in controversy for the most part. Now, you know what? Let's focus at the present. Fast forward to 2025, a time when social media and music streaming platforms encourage constant releases to keep the fans engaged, to keep the algorithm happy, all that stuff, the nonsense. New singles drop every Friday from a lot of artists too, and there's nothing wrong with that approach. They're feeding a hype cycle that is relentless but necessary, because if you want to make that money, you got to drop them songs. Yet Tems has taken a road less traveled, a different approach. Rather than saturate her audience with weekly drops or countless collaborations or videos for everything, she's actually curated her art like a looked after garden. Each single, each feature, each album is deliberate, or should I say each project, since she only dropped her debut album last year, and she does have the 7-track EP from a few years ago too. But basically she's ensuring her music remains high quality, heartfelt music that is unforced, and not trying to force feed the market because the algorithm says do it. And this measured approach makes every Tems release an event. Anticipation builds around her unique blend of R&B with a bit of afrobeats in there, and then the alternative influences, and her unique vocal style. Her fans know they won't hear a half-baked track that maybe she would have rushed to meet a deadline. Instead, they'll get this layered production with introspective and clever lyrics and a vocal performance that's really uplifting. It could be, tugging on your heartstrings, whatever the case may be. And it can be frustrating for fans eager for more, especially when, streaming platforms sort of prime you to get new music every Friday, that kind of thing. It definitely can be frustrating for those fans. But it is also the hallmark of an artist who actually values longevity over quick hits. One of the things that makes Tems who she is. So when the Recording Academy announced the Best African Music Performance category, it felt like an overdue acknowledgement of the continent's surging influence on global pop culture. Then comes Tems with a record that was 100% hers, and carrying the weight of her experiences and the hopes of fans who rooted for her from the start, man, her day ones. If her first Grammy with Future was a door opener, this second Grammy in the African Music Performance, Best African Music Performance category, absolutely secured Tems as this solo artist, not just a feature artist. And she got that permanent seat at the table. Honestly, she's got it. Over the past year, Tems has also been on her world tour, like I said before, and really showcasing how much she has this dynamic sound, stage presence, and she's got a fan base all across the world. And really, she's lit up stages across major European capitals, North America, Australia. Look, man. And it's really, really cool when you see that, because the year she's done a world tour and then she goes on to win a Grammy the next year, her own Grammy, which is her second Grammy even. And for many African artists, bridging cultural gaps can be a challenge, whether it is touring or winning awards. She has done it so effortlessly, connecting with listeners who might not even speak her native languages, but still feel the depth of her music and everything else that she delivers. That universal power of music is exactly why a global audience from Lagos to Brisbane, Australia, has been quick to embrace her art. And even in the US, she's been selling units in the US, bruv. Like, lots and lots of units. These international stages weren't just concerts for her. They were actually cultural moments reflecting on the growing appetite for African music in general, and African music's place in pop music, in global pop music right now. No one doubts the significance of Tems' first Grammy win. It was freaking phenomenal. It put a global spotlight on her and announced that, an African artist could also hold their own among chart-dominating names. I mean, Wizkid did it with Beyonce as well, which was pretty cool. But let's face it, that triumph was attached to, I guess, Future's momentum at the time too. And she was in the right vehicle at the right time, even if her contribution was absolutely essential to making the record what it is. But this time, and Tems has said it herself, she is fully behind the wheel. This is her Grammy. Like, this is actually Tems' Grammy. And no one can say it's diluted or it's overshadowed by a bigger name or whatever. The applause is for her lyrics, her vision, things that she carefully crafted into the composition to make it what it is. And Love Me JJ is a fire track, by the way. Fire track. And in a market where quick buzz singles can vanish in a week, Tems stands out for her ability to make music that stays long after the hype. And her patience in studio, a place where she refines, reworks, and polishes every little bit about a song, really has paid off, not only from a project perspective, but from a career perspective, because she's always been like this. Couldn't be rushed for music, bro. And it is a crowning achievement that cements Tems really as a modern African music giant, without a doubt. And we might as well talk about this. How does Tems consistently churn out quality music without falling into the trap of oversaturation? Because, for one, she's actually known to work closely with a tight-knit production team that shares her vision. And this is why Guilty Beats, for example, has 12 credits on her debut album, Born in the Wild. And she herself also does production on her own songs too. And she often cites her early influences like Lauryn Hill, Destiny's Child, and all that for teaching her that substance actually trumps the whole feeding the hype cycle. And I'm glad she does it like that, because it's so easy to be like, Tems should release more music, what. Nah, she's fine. And she's actually quite meticulous in her recording process, everything from the chord progressions to vocal layering, and really just ensuring that the final product is a true work of art, with hard work behind it, by the way. She's also made it clear that she refuses to bend solely to commercial pressures. This is where the afrobeats versus R&B conversation comes in. What is Tems? Tems just makes music that she loves, and I think she makes a really soulful blend that is, it's an R&B soulful blend that has, that Africanness in there, whatever you want to call that. When she was trying to make a name for herself, she was told that she wouldn't make it if she didn't switch to Afrobeats. So a lot of doors were closed in her face because of that. But she stuck with the sound that she knew was hers and she loved, and she could take it somewhere. So whether it's a single, a project, a collaboration, Tems actually ensures that she has plenty of creative control over the final cut. And this approach, well, it means she gives us less music, fewer releases. For example, in 2023, she only released 2 songs. In modern day, it's like 2 songs only. Hey, fans will forget about you. Well, 2025, she won a Grammy, didn't she? But it also means higher quality releases, ones that actually capture her evolution as an artist and as a person. Another aspect to Tems' win is her journey in itself is emblematic of a broader shift in global music, the global music landscape, in appreciating African artists and music and everything else. Once these things were like marginalized to like world music, you know, and everything African music was under world music together with K-pop and what. But now African music has its own category at the Grammys, and we have the likes of Mama Angelique Kidjo, thank for that, and a host of other musicians that have paved the way. When we look at the afrobeat scene, just think of, you know, your Burna Boys, Yemi Alade, Wizkid, Tiwa Savage, Davido, and others that have laid the groundwork for Nigerians in particular. But Tems herself brings a fresh vibe that merges soulful introspection with her distinct African style. And her success at the Grammys is just another sign that the world is hungry for African music, man. Like, seriously. African music is everything. And we cannot ignore the importance of representation. A young fan in Nairobi or Abuja or Douala can look at Tems and think, yo, I can do that too. Then a budding songwriter in Harare or Libreville can study Tems's, you know, songwriting prowess, production, co-production and all that, gaining confidence that, hey, global audiences are actually eager for music from, you know, the motherland. And it's a ripple effect that can transform entire communities for young creatives. But I digress. So where does Tems go from here? Because, 2 Grammys, bruh. Anyway, I think awards are certainly nice, but they're really not the be-all end-all for an artist, especially of her depth. Having secured a place in the global conversation, she's already hinted at new material coming sometime in the future, more work in her home country of Nigeria, and continuing to tell stories through music. As fans, we can expect her to stay true to that measured and deliberate pace. And there might not be new music every month, but when Tems does release something, it promises to be an experience, and a beautiful one at that. And behind the scenes, she's also writing songs for she wrote the song that brought Rihanna back from 2016, bro. That's Tems. And anyway, while we celebrate this Grammy win, we also look forward to just seeing how she'll shape the next generation of African music. I think she's got more Grammys in her. Don't hate, but I think she does. Perhaps even inspiring more categories at the Grammys or something. Who knows? Or forging new platforms for underrepresented voices in global entertainment, especially in Africa. But in the end, Tems' latest Grammy victory just isn't an award on her mantle. It's the affirmation of a patient, purposeful journey and intent, just staying true to herself. This one is her own Grammy. It's a testament to how quality and authenticity and a global mindset also can elevate an artist from feature credits to center stage without a doubt. And look, talent, bro. You need talent for that. For general African music lovers, this truly is a collective win that really shows the promise of our African music and the stories that we tell. So, I'd shout out to Tems, man. Cheers to Tems. Here's to Tems. Drinks up. A shining example of artistry done right. And it's done just one track at a time. No rushing. Let me know. What are your thoughts about Tems' Grammy win? Yeah, leave some comments in the comment section below. Otherwise, that's it for me. My name is MJ Wemoto, son of Zimbabwe, signing out. Peace. Then.